Hi everyone, hope everyone's doing okay. This week I'm going to be reading Jean-Paul Sartre's Huis, published in 1944. In this one-act play written by existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, Huis details the dialogue between Garcin, Inès, and Estelle, who are confined in a room in hell. From its inception, the play begins with a rather unorthodox description of the hellish scape, for rather than pits of fire and the cries of humanity in pain as they burn for eternity, we get a rather mundane description of the scene. Set in a room that resembles a petty bourgeois sitting room, the tropes of middle-class lifestyle are the hunting setting for this tale. Garcin, surprised by the appearance of the room and missing executioner, soon finds himself in the company of Inès and Estelle, and the trio eventually become a complicated love triangle. Sometime later, we discover the reason why each of them is condemned to hell, for they all have committed acts of violence to various degrees. Sartre, whose literature explored the core themes of his existentialist philosophy, believed that our existence precedes our essence, and because our godless universe has no fixed meaning, we are responsible for our own choices and actions. In other words, we are condemned to be free. Simultaneously a gift and a curse, radical freedom demands radical responsibility, and to the extent we allow bureaucracies and entertainments to define and distract us, we live inauthentic lives. In other words, we live in bad faith. While the triad of characters in Huis Clos have, according to traditional morality, earned their spot in this so-called hell, Sartre never confirms nor denies his position on their actions prior to the scene. The triad's ultimate punishment is not due to their rather violent actions, but instead for their frivolity and superficiality. They are condemned for being petty bourgeoisie. Their only concern for the world extends only as far as others can service their needs, and the moment others around them cease to cater to their desires, they blame others, not themselves. In a twist of satire, Sartre's tale punishes not for their violent and sinful actions, but rather for living in bad faith. Their failure to take accountability and responsibility for their actions leads to the famous and often misinterpreted statement, "Hell is other people." Sartre, however, does not mean people are hell, but rather we construct our own hell. Hell is us if we live in bad faith. In this way, hell is not an otherworldly place that happens after death, as told by religions like Christianity, but rather hell can happen in the here and now of our existence. The lack of mirrors in the trio's designated hellscape is indicative of the gaze of the other imposed upon each other. Unable to recognize their own reflection or see themselves from their own perspective, Garcin, Inès, and Estelle must formulate their own subjectivity in relation to how others perceive them. Their identity is at the mercy of the imposing gaze of the other. The other perceives the subject of its gaze as a being in itself or object, thus robbing the subject of the freedom to create its own essence. As the trio desperately wish to gaze upon their own reflections in a mirror to escape the objectifying and dehumanizing gaze of one another, they fail to realize their conceptions of self are already formulated. They have internalized their conception of selfhood imposed on by the other, and even if they had the ability to face a mirror, their reflection would only confirm the objectifying definition imposed upon them by the other's gaze. With the cycle of degradation complete, the characters are robbed of their freedom to create their own essence, as they are now in the depths of the hell that is being defined by a source outside oneself. Now conscious of their own morality that lies not in the finitude of their bodies, but in the inability to freely self-define as a product of appearing as object in the gaze of the other, they face a nothingness to come without possibility of exit or escape, as the title suggests. Thank you.